Hello, how are you all doing? Good afternoon. Welcome to another time here at the book club. It's what we got to do every Sunday afternoon, West African time at 2 p.m. And we'll get to read through a book and learn from it, share from it, use real life application, and hopefully we can get built up by it. We in our sixth book in this series we've been doing, and it's The Good Life. This is a book that was released January of last year, 2023. It's a compilation of a study done at the Harvard School, for adult development, study. And they've been doing this for more than 85 years, so they've had their separate generations go through the study. And all they're looking for is what makes for a good life, what makes for a good adult development in terms of longevity and also the quality of life, in terms of living long and having a quality life, in terms of health, happiness, enjoyment, fulfillment, you know. And the result of the study is that what makes for that is relationship, having the right type of relationship in the important segments, phases of our life, and also having those making sure those relationships are quality relationship. It's not just having those relationships, but making sure that they're the right kind of relationship. They are win-win relationship. They are relationships that are healthy. Like we typically say, the classical definition of a healthy relationship is one in which people come together for the sake of what they can give, not what they can receive. A healthy relationship is not a parasitical relationship. It's not a win-lose relationship. It's a relationship that people come to because of what they can give. However, what keeps and nourishes that relationship is not what you give, but what you get. Right. So we call it a paradox of relationship. You go into it for what you can give, but what maintains it, what nourishes it, what keeps it going, what gives it life is what you get from it, not necessarily what you give, So and when we're talking about giving and receiving here, we're talking about it in every realm of life. We're talking about it in terms of physically, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically. The key thing is that you are being increased by by the mere fact, the essence, the connection to that relationship. You are becoming a better person, from that engagement. It's not something that drains you. Something that drains you is not a healthy relationship. Something that burns you out is not a healthy relationship. A healthy relationship is one in which you are nourished, you are filled. Even though you are giving, you are filled up, and that's what we've been trying to learn. As much as we've found out that it's a healthy relationship, that makes for a good life, a good adult development. We've then been looking at how to make the relationships in our life to be healthy ones, to be one that nourishes us, not one that drains us, So that's what we've been looking at, through the time here. We've been doing this since the first Sunday in Hey Mary, you're welcome. Thanks for joining with me. Uh Nice to have you. I hope you enjoy it. Feel free to comment, send me a question, a note, but great to have you. I hope you enjoy our time together. So it's we've been doing this since the first Sunday in July of last year. So this is our ninth month in this, and I think we're still headed maybe to finish this in June, July of this year before we go on to our seventh book. But like I say all the time, we're not in a hurry. We're going to take all the time, spend all the time it takes to spend this time together. We want to just soak out of the book, soak out of the book, soak out of the book. The important thing is not that we have read the book, is that our life has changed for the better. We have become better persons by reason of reading the book. That is what's important. So we're going to take all the time it takes for us to be changed, to be transformed by the mere fact that we're reading, engaging this book. So that's my heart desire. That's my agenda. That's my disposition. That's my vision, in doing this, and as you come along, feel free again, feel free to add your voice to what we're sharing, ask questions, comment, add to what I'm saying, bring life to bear, in what we're sharing. Today, we're going to focus talking about emotions today. That's what we're going to do. We talked about emotions 2 Sundays ago. We're going to dial down and talk about affections and empathy, two types of emotions that affect the relationships in our life. So those are probably those are going to be the two focal point we're going to spend time with today. Great. I have my slide here again. This is the book. It's written by two guys here that will lead at the Abbott School. The names are Robert Waldinger and Marc Schulz. They put this together, and it's been a great book. I've enjoyed my time reading this book. It's changed my life, and I hope it changes your life also. It's made me a better person. It's making me a better person, as I read and learn through it, So it's our sixth time here, and the quote we've been using to run through this chapter, and this is we're here in chapter 7 of the book. The quote has been talking about vulnerability. When we're young, we have a lot of expectations when we're young, and thinking that when we get old, forgive me, probably should have water here, but missed an opportunity. All right. Thinking that when we're old, we'll have liberties of our own. Life is a continuum, right? We all show up on the scene as aliens coming to a new world, right? We appear on planet Earth, aliens. We don't know, we didn't ask to be brought here, but somehow we arrived here, and we had no clue what this planet looks like, but then we then begin to grow, begin to learn, we stand very dependable because we have nothing to leave or to harness this life on or wait on our own. So we come in very dependable. We're dependent on our parents, our authority figures in our life, care givers, but from our day one that we land here, we then begin to gain a bit of independency. We're 100% dependent when you arrive here, but then as days go by, we begin to gain a bit of independency, and we look for that day when we can really do what we want to do on our own. We get a bit tired of other people telling us what to do, then we arrive at that place where we're independent. We begin to break, from into adolescence, right? From children to adolescence, and we begin then to seek independence at full bloom, right? And it's not just we seeking it, but also hormones begins to flow in our body and demands, the need for independence, right? Because those hormones then begin to create new features, physical features in us. And those physical features also affect the way we think. We call it puberty. Our reproductive organs begins to show up. And that affects the way we look, the way we talk. For women, they begin to develop, new features that confuse men, and other things like that, right? So, but key word I was trying to bring in all of this is that, we look in that independence, we're thinking that, we'll come to a time when we can control those that come to our space and those that don't come to our space, and we get to that place where we're independent. Then we'll find out that independent itself, right, is not the optimum place to be. Yes, we can do so much on our own, but we can only do so much. There's a whole lot more we can do, when we team up with someone else. And that place is where we call interdependence. We come from a place of dependence to a place of independence to a place where we can get to what we call create a synergistic relationship, a mastermind relationship that can then heighten even what we can do, to another level. So we'll move from a place of independency to a place of interdependency, where we begin to link up with other people to do more, right? And scripturally, the Bible would say that one will put to flight 1,000, but two will put to flight 10,000. Guess he didn't say two will put to flight 2,000. Two will put to flight 10,000. You see that we'll call that a synergistic, relationship, a mastermind relationship, which creates, something that is more than the individual sum of the individual sum of the elements coming together. It's a miraculous thing. It's a magical thing. When you team up with someone else, you're able to do much, much, much more. So that is the beauty of being vulnerable, right? That's the beauty of not just living in your own shell. That's the beauty of not just living in your own world. Yes, your world is important. Your shell is important. And there's a place for that. There's a place for solitude, but it's not being in solitude all your life. If all you do is solitude, you will miss life. You will not get the essence of life. You will not be able to go far in life. You'll be limited in life. There's a place for solitude. There's a place also for relationship. There's a place to relate, link up with other people. There's a place to come into healthy relationship with other people. There's a whole lot more that life has to give to us when we link up with other people. Again, I like to say, the essence of our life is not found inside of us. The essence of our life is found outside of us, right? And that is true for every organism, every organization. Their essence is not found inside of them. Their essence is found outside of them. Everything that takes place inside of an organization or an organism is to prepare that organism or organization for engagement for things outside of itself, where its essence is. Right? Everything that takes place inside of an organization or an organism is not for the sake of that organization or the organism. It's for the sake of engagement with things that are outside that organism, right? Is to be able to win the war of life. Is to win the war of life. However, to win the war of life, you must win the war that's within yourself. Because the extent to which you can win the war of life or the war that is outside of yourself is the extent to which you win the war that is inside of yourself. An organism, an organization is only as strong as it wins the war within itself. When it wins the war within itself, that is well armed, well able to win the war that is outside of itself. There's a whole African proverb that says, if there's no enemy within, the enemy without can do you no harm, right? If there's no enemy within yourself, there's the enemy without you can do you no harm. You have first of all make sure there's no enemy within yourself to be able to fight the enemies that are outside, right? And that's a place where we need vulnerability. We need to be to come to open up to other people, because on our own we can do only so much. But there's a lot more that life has for us, a lot more opportunities in life that we can harness, we can tap into and use, So, excuse me. So life becomes more complex as we age, right? But benefits that come from having secure connections continue through every phase of life. As we grow, life is comes from a simple place, right? Of being a child. We're going to puberty, we get confused when those hormones begin to flow. We have new feelings, we never used to wet beds, have wet dreams, the opposite sex we look at before and there was nothing, we start getting confused, and we're asking ourselves what's going on, so we'll go through that transition, to a place where we don't even understand, to a place where we get to understand the changes taking place in our life, and we have a time then to use it to another place where things begin to shut down on us. For the women, it's called menopause. The new changes then begin to take place in our life, for a period, we start having those odd spots, all of that stuff, then you go into your late life, retirement, so different phases of life, with all its complexity as we go along, but having secure connections, being related with other people kind of reduces or helps to carry the burden of those complexities of life. So when we become loners, we lose the benefit, we can get from the experience of other people. We would typically say the best tool for life is not your experience, right? Because it's only your experience only good, if you survive the encounter. But why risk that? That's the reason why we're reading this book. We're reading books because we can learn from other people's experience, and live better. Isaac Newton would say, I have gone further. I have seen further because of the shoulder of the giants that I've sat on, right? He did not try to reinvent the wheel himself, but he tapped into what others have done and continued from where they stopped. There's a foolishness of people just say, I want to do my own thing. I want to read my own book. I don't want to read other people's book. That's foolishness. That's foolishness. You cannot live long enough to learn everything yourself. You cannot live long enough to learn everything yourself. Every new generation is meant to continue from where the old generation stopped. We're supposed to be in a continuous advancement, a continuous evolution, right? It's foolishness to try to reinvent the wheel. What other people have done, you are trying to redo it, right? Rather, you use what they've done and make it better. Use what they've done and make it better. Use what they've done and make it better. That's what we talk about innovation, right? When it comes to innovation and imagination and bringing about new things, there's several ways you can do that, right? You don't have to. There's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing you would do today that has not been done before. Nothing. Everything builds on what is already in existence, right? So if you're talking about bringing about something new, you can either add two old things together, you create something new. You can subtract from an old thing, you create something new. You can multiply the whole thing, you make something new. You can divide the whole thing, you make something new. But it's foolishness to be looking for something that no one else has ever seen, because there's nothing new under the sun. Everything that is to be has already been. You can only make it better, right? And be able to do that comes from being able to, link up with other people, relate with other people, get the experience of the other people and make yours better, right? And that comes from relationship, right? That comes from tagging up with other people, being loved, loving and being loved, And the way we're created that way, and it makes a lot of difference to know that someone loves you. It makes a lot of difference to know that someone loves you, right? And we talked about healthy relationship. When you're in a healthy relationship, one of the things that fills your tank is that you know that someone loves you, someone sees you, someone hears you, someone gets you, someone understands you. You need that to feel connected. Otherwise, you feel lonely. Loneliness is a friend of depression. It steals your energy for life, right? If you steal your energy for life, you will not be able to address the complexity that life comes with, right? You need strength to face the complexities that life comes with so you can win. And one of the ways you get that is by rightly connecting with people in your life, having healthy relationship that fill your tank, having healthy relationship that give you synergy, that give you a mastermind, to face those issues in life, and relationships live inside of us because they feel our tank, they feel our tank, they make us alive, I'm excited to have Mary here, connected to me, sharing this. I feel somehow if nobody was connected, but she's here connected. I have other people connected on YouTube. I have other people connected on my blogging site, which is all open at this point in time. It makes a difference to the way I talk when I know someone is listening to me. It fills my tank. I'm a human being. If anything otherwise, I'm lying to you. It makes a difference to every one of us when we know that somebody sees us, somebody hears us, somebody knows us, somebody understands us, somebody gets us, somebody loves us. It feels attack. It helps us to be able to do more, right? I'm a teacher, right? And I find that I can do a whole lot more when people engage with what I'm talking about. I can only say so much, but there's a new sphere, new ground that just opens up when people begin to engage with what I'm sharing. Maybe people ask questions in a particular area or the other. My marriage site, that's how we grew up to 100,000. When people engage, there's only so much you can give, but there's much more you can give when people engage. Maybe that's why the Bible talks about that. If you give a cup of water, to a prophet in the name of a prophet, you get a prophet's reward. Maybe that's just when you see someone for who that person is, you get what you see. When you see someone for who that person is, you get what you see. And that's something we talk about life. Use the word attitude. The word attitude. What you get out of life is what you put out to life. If you say life is difficult, that's what you get from life. It'll be difficult. If you say life is not rewarding, that's what you get from life. It will not be rewarding. If you say life is beautiful, that is what you get from life. You get the beauty of life. Life will give to you what you expect of it. The attitude with which you come to life is the attitude you will receive back, right? But enough of that. Let's move on. The method of a person who is important to us can generate hormones and other chemicals that travel through our blood and affects our heart, our brains, and numerous other body systems. Just thinking about someone loving you, someone counting you in has benefit to your life. It can make you feel healthy to your physical body, emotional, psychological, spiritual, just, and that's the beauty of connecting with people. And that's the way God has made us. God has put our health in the people around us. God has put our health in the people around us. That includes our mental health also. It makes a whole lot of difference to know someone loves you, someone cares. A lot of people that get into mental issue, sometimes it's because they feel invisible. People that commit suicide, they feel invisible. They feel nobody is seeing them. People that have issues in marriage, they feel they're not being seen by their spouse, right? They're talking, but they don't feel they're being heard. We spent some time talking about loneliness on our journey here. And loneliness is just simply, feeling that the people around you are not able to understand you at the level that you're in. Loneliness is not being alone, right? Loneliness, you can be lonely and you have a crowd around you. You can be a celebrity and be lonely, because loneliness is a psychological feeling. It's a perception. It's not necessarily reality, but it's as powerful, very powerful, even though it's a perception. It's a perception that the people around you don't get you. The people around you don't understand you. The people around you don't know you. The people around you don't see you. The people around you don't hear you, right? And they might. The funny thing is that they might. But your perception is reality. And that perception will affect your life, it will change your life, it will limit your life. But if you can get the right perception, it will just take your life to another level, right? And help you live the best, the fullness of life that you're supposed to live. It makes a difference to be loved by somebody, and relationship feels our attack, and the effort of being loved can span the whole of your lifetime. The mere thought of just thinking about, right. I mean, some of you think about some old love, old fantasies, and they make you come alive. Maybe in your downtime. It could also be being loved by your parents, your siblings, some of those holidays you went to, the places, the people you met, the beauty of traveling, those fill our tank and they can make a difference in the quality of our life, you know. And so, like I said, we're going to focus in one of the things that measures the effect of relationship in our life is the word emotion. Is the emotions it evokes. When we talk about perception, loneliness, it evokes an emotion. Some of those emotions, if those emotions are the right one, they give us life. If those emotions are the wrong one, they give us death. Death. They give us death, right? We die. It kills us. When the emotions are the right one, they give us life. They fill our tank. When the emotions are the wrong one, they drain us. They drain us, right? Let's quickly look at, we talked about emotion 2 Sundays ago, but do a quick revision of what we spoke about. The American Psychological Association defines emotions as a conscious mental reaction. Get what? It's a reaction, right? So emotions don't exist in a world of their own. They are provoked. They are evoked. It's a reaction, not an action. Emotions don't just come of their own accord. They come because of something, right? So you can provoke a particular emotion that you desire in another person and in yourself. Emotions can be controlled and should be controlled. When you don't control emotions, they'll kill you. Emotions are good servants, bad masters. They are meant to be controlled if you want to have a good life, right? Emotions are not actions, they are reactions. They respond to something. And to control them, then you have to take ownership of that thing they are reacting to. Take ownership of the action by being intentional and proactive about it. By being intentional and proactive about it. I was sharing with someone yesterday, and the person had a crush that is turning a life upside down. But that crush is a reaction. It didn't just come of its own. It's reacting to something in her life. And she doesn't have to be the servant of that crush because there are red flags all around it. So she needs to go to the source and take control of where that crush is coming from and put it where it belongs. Emotions, they are conscious, mental. It's not a physical. Emotion is not physical, even though you feel it in your body. It's a mental. You feel it in your body, but it's a mental reaction. It's not physical reaction. It's a mental reaction. You feel the effect in your body, but it's a mental reaction, right? Emotion is another word for emotion is emotion, energy in motion, energy in motion. But that energy comes as a result of your mental response to something. So it's a conscious mental reaction, which examples anger, fear, love, crush, infatuation, right? Subjectively, emotions are not necessarily objective. They're never objective. They are subjective. They don't have direction of their own. They don't have voice of their own. They need leadership. They need to be directed. You can feel like killing somebody. You can feel like kissing your cousin. You can feel like having sex with your mother or your father. Emotions are not objective. They are just there. They're just there. God gave them to us because he believes that we can control them. We are the one that gives it direction. Emotions have no direction. So that's the problem with all of these people that talk about being homosexual, lesbian, all of that. Because you feel something for a girl doesn't mean you should go there. Those are emotions. They have no leadership of their own. They have no head of their own. It's subjective. You can feel like having sex with an animal. It's subjective. You then have to give it definition based on your value system. Emotions will kill you if you have no value. If you have no ethics, you will kill you. If you have no morals, emotions will kill you. Emotions need to be directed by your value system, your belief system, your moral, your ethics, because they are not objective. It's just a feeling. You are reacting to something. Telling you to do, you feel like doing the crazy thing. It's energy, just moving around, just that use. Part of that energy is a sexual energy. Probably the strongest energy. People who are foolish just do whatever the sexual energy is telling them to do. You must not lose your head just because you have energy around. Energy, emotion. Don't lose your head because you have energy. Direct it. Direct it where you need to go. Direct it where it will profit you. Direct it where it will make you a better person. Direct it in the line of your vision. Direct it in the line of your purpose, your intent in life, your essence in life. Direct it where it will make you a better person. It will increase. It will increase you, will increase the people around you. Direct it according to your morals, your ethics, your value system, your belief system. Don't be a prisoner to the energy. Be the master of your energy. So what we'll talk about, is, transmuting that energy. The way you to transmute energy is to convert it from one form to the other. There's a sexual energy telling you to do something stupid, but because your moral says otherwise, you don't become a servant of the subjectivity. You bring your objectivity to bear and direct that energy to what is right, what will move you forward, not what will take you backwards. Don't allow 1 second pleasure destroy your life. You have been building a life for 20 years just because your sexual energy is all going haywire because you have seen some naked person or someone that you think he has fantasy, and you destroy the life you have been building for 20 years. There's something called transmutation. You can transmute that energy by not being a servant to it, but by holding yourself and directing it according to the morals in your life, your value system, your belief system, your ethics. It's called transmutation of energy. That's how people make it in life. If you're a servant to emotion, servant to sexual energy, servant to every other emotion, you are not going to go far in life. You are going to be a prisoner. Prisoner. People will know you for that, and they will use it against you. But Bible says that a man that cannot control himself is like a city without walls. So if you are not able to control the energy, emotion, your emotions, you are like a city without walls. You cannot defend yourself against the enemy. People can see you and know how to get you. Just say this thing and you will miss it. Just send a girl to him and he will fall flat. Send a man to her, he will fall flat. Let a man give her money, she will open her legs. You are like a city without walls when you can't control your emotions. And one of those emotions is sexual energy. If you can't control your sexual energy, you are a city without walls. You are not going to go far in life. You are a prisoner. You're a prisoner to your emotions. You aren't going to go far in life. If you want to go far in life, you must be someone that controls the energy, emotion in your life. You're able to control the emotions in your life. You're able to control the sexual energy in your life. That's the way to go far in life. That's the way to build a life that is built to last. A life that goes from good to great. To build a life that goes from good to great. To build a life that lasts. You must be able to control the energy in your life. You must be able to control the energy, emotion in your life. So, again, emotions, energy, emotion, right? It's a conscious mental reaction. You are conscious of that mental reaction, but that mental reaction, that mental consciousness is reacting to a thing, is reacting to a thing, is reacting to a naked body, is reacting to a breast, is reacting to nipples, is reacting to someone's backside, is reacting to something you saw, something you felt, something someone said. But that reaction, that energy that comes to life is not objective, it is subjective. It's an explosion. You must direct it. Don't follow it. You must direct it using your value system, using your belief system, using your morals, using your ethics, using your purpose in life, your vision in life. Don't kill somebody because you feel like killing the person. You will regret it for the rest of your life. Don't slap somebody just because you feel like slapping the person. You might regret it. Someone will say, if you slap the person dies. You're going to be, you just murdered somebody, irrespective of what the person did to provoke that. You are responsible for what you do. That's that place in scripture. Jesus would say, if someone slaps you, turn the other one. What he's saying is, take control of the emotions, take control of the energy, emotion, take control. Don't let it control you. The energy that comes to bear because someone stops you is subjective, it's not objective. You give it direction, you give it purpose. You don't have to slap someone back because the person slapped you. You are responsible for what you do, irrespective of what the person did. Yes, the emotions that come to bear are reacting to what was done. Someone slapped you, you feel angry. You feel upset. You feel enraged. You feel like killing somebody. Your feelings are not rational. You give it the rationale, the rationale. You are responsible for your action, not your emotion. Your emotions come of their own because of what was done. They are reacting to what was done. But what you do is up to you. You give it objective. You give it direction. Energy was created. You have to decide how to use that energy. You are responsible for the energy that was created as a result of that, the things that evoke the emotion. You cannot blame that on someone else. So it is subjectively experienced as strong feelings, usually directed towards a specific object, which typically will be the object that provoked the reaction, and typically accompanied by physiological and behavioral changes in the body. Yes. So when I have emotions, for a man, I start feeling something in my penis or whatever it is. For a woman, whatever it is, maybe you start feeling wet or something. Yes. It doesn't mean you have to follow after it or be a prisoner to it. All right. I remember counseling a lady years ago, and every time she has ovulation, she feels she must have sex. Unfortunately, our husband worked offshore. She is not always around because she has that feeling, that belief that she must have sex. She goes out to have sex with someone else. She was a prisoner of her belief, of her thought pattern. You can hold yourself back because you're going through a ovulation and you feel like having sex. Doesn't mean you must have sex. You can hold yourself. You can transmute that energy to do something to better use. Use that energy to take care of the house, clean the house, develop a business, focus on something that is useful rather than just being a community well. You're responsible for your emotions. It's energy created because something took place. Yes, you feel it in your body. You tend to want to do something or the other, but you must do what is right. You are not a prisoner to your emotions. I'm going to go on. Spend so much time on these emotions. I hope it helped you. I hope you got something from it. I did, but our emotions can point us to hidden truths about the wishes and fears in our life, our expectations of life, about how others should behave, and the reasons we view our partners the way we do. How I feel when my wife does one thing or the other tells a lot about me, right? How I feel when someone touches me tells about the expectations in my life. And we'll talk about the love languages, as we go along here. And we'll react, they're separate differently. But you learn about yourself based on the emotions that are evoked, that the energy, the emotions that come to bear, that given birth to, due to what someone did or did not do. Someone says a word to me, what's important to me? I start feeling sexual. Because someone says the right words to me. Because I feel sexual doesn't mean I must have sex. It's energy, emotion. I have to give that energy direction. But it means a lot to me because words mean a lot to me. Someone touches me. It means a lot to me. For me, it's care. It's affection. I feel sexual. Doesn't mean I have to have sex. I can transmute that energy according to my belief, my value system. But emotions, obviously, the energy that gets evoked because of what someone did or did not do tells a lot about us. Someone talks anyhow to me and I feel like slapping the person or I feel belittled, tells about what's important to me. It's respect is important to me. Doesn't mean I have to slap the person. Doesn't mean I have to respond to the person. Doesn't mean I have to fight the person. I have to use discretion. I have to use my discretion to decide on what is right at that moment, even though the emotions tells a lot about me. When we experience a strong emotion, positive or negative, a sudden welling up of gratitude or surge of anger at being misunderstood is an indication of something deeper. The way we feel when people do one thing or the other tells who we are. Sometimes it points to something in our life, our coping styles, something that was done or was not done to us sometime in our life. You could talk about how much affirmation we had when we're growing up or not, what we think about ourselves. See, when you're certain about yourself, then someone belittling you, it's water off the back of a crocodile. But when you already have a low self-esteem, then more emotions are generated because someone is talking down to you. When you have a sense of self, the emotions that are generated when someone tries to belittle you are less, because you know yourself. But when your sense of self is low, the energy that's generated is a whole lot more, right? So the emotions that get evoked when someone does one thing or the other tells a lot about who you are, tells about the things that feed you, tells about your love language. It reveals things about you. And it's not for you then to cry, it's for you to work on that area of your life. It's for you to build the fence, the wall that you might need to guide yourself. It's for you to learn areas in your life you need to take care of, right? But obviously, we want the right emotions to be generated. People that belong to our tribe will generally evoke the right emotions, positive emotions in our life. People that are just out there, uh, possibly thinking about belittling us at war with us, will tend to generate wrong emotions. It's up to us, to defend ourselves, defend our hearts. The Bible will say, guard your heart with all diligence. Part of it proceeds the issues of life, right? Yeah, part of it proceeds the energy of life, So the emotions you evoke tells you who you are. Then you know what to stay away from and what to stay close to. It tells you your weaknesses and your strengths. Emotions are a type of depth indicator for a relationship. The emotions they evoke, probably tell you how much a relationship matters to you. If someone you truly trust in and want to build a lasting relationship with does or says something, it's going to hurt you deeper than someone that you don't care about. So sometimes the way you feel tells you where you are in a relationship. You know, uh, Things that someone else would do that doesn't matter. Someone that you're expecting much more from, it will evoke more energy, emotion if they do the same thing. So emotions are in a way tell us where we are in a relationship, what we care about, you know, how far we want it to go or not. So emotions could be a kind of how deep we are in a relationship, an indicator of how deep or how much we treasure a relationship or not. Emotions tell us the things that are important to us and also what's important to our partners. Yes, the emotions. I mean, if someone says something and it doesn't matter to you, that means if someone says something that doesn't matter to you, it's not going to generate emotions, it's not going to generate energy. But if something that's critical to you, it's important to you, you place value on, it will generate energy in you, whether it be positive or negative, right? So emotions it just reveals to you who you are, and also reveals to you who your partner is. If you love that person, you will work to generate positive emotions, not negative, right? Someone that you care about, someone you want to be closer to, you want to develop a stronger bond with. You seek to generate more positive emotions than that and less of the negative emotions. If all you do is create the negative emotions, you're going to be drawing apart. Yeah, people that grow apart is because they don't spend time, they don't invest to evoke positive emotions. For you to be drawing together, you draw closer to someone that generates positive emotions in you, right? I have a couple of friends, a lot of friends. I was sharing with my goddaughter yesterday. I have more female friends than men friends, right? And that's expected, right? Because I have daughters, I don't have a son. Uh, I have a senior sister, two junior sisters after me before my first brother and my three brothers, right? So I grew up, spent too much time with women. It's my comfort place with women, and um, that you, it, there are people that you just find a comfort place with, you find a comfort place with them. And that's because the emotions that's generated is the positive emotions that you want, right? Anybody that you don't want to be close to or irritates you because they generate in negative emotions, right? If you want to be connected to people or people that you get connected with because they feel something in you, they generate positive mood. We'll call them vibe. They generate positive vibes in you. right? And we all want good vibes. We draw closer to people that generate positive vibes in us, good vibes in us. People that generate bad vibes in us, we stay away from. We only get close to them because we must. But if we have a choice, we'll stay away from everybody that generates bad vibes in us. Bad energy, want to stay away from bad energy, toxic energy, want to stay away from, right? So we draw close to people that generate good energy, good vibes, you know, in us. So if there's somebody you want to be close to, then you need to focus on generating the good vibes, the positive energy with that person. And this does not just have to be with your spouse, just be friendship as a whole. If you want to be somebody that wants to make friends, you have to find out about that person, find out what are the good vibes for that person, and generate those vibes. You'll be friends. The person will seek you. The person will seek you if you generate good vibes with the person, because we all draw near to the things that feed something inside of us, consciously or unconsciously. We all draw near to the things that feed something inside of us, whether we know it or not. The things that you seek to be near to and to spend time with is because it's feeding something inside of you, whether is feeding it consciously or unconsciously, but somehow it is feeding something inside of you. Everything that generates good vibes inside of you, everything that generates the right emotion, energy inside of you or around you are the things you seek to spend time with. So if you want your marriage then to be healthy, to be good, to be lasting, to be paradise, then you have to seek to generate the vibes that your spouse likes. You have to seek to generate the energy that makes your spouse to come alive. When you do that, she will just automatically love you. She will automatically seek you, because it is the way we are created. We are created to seek that which feeds something on the inside of us, consciously or unconsciously. If you can generate the emotions in your spouse that makes your spouse come alive, feel alive, be at rest, be at peace, your marriage is made. If you can do that for a friend also, you have a friend for life. If you do the opposite, the people will run away from you, right? Elite Creatives, you're welcome. Thanks for joining us. So emotions between partners are a critical indicator of whether intimate relationships will thrive or fail. That's what we're talking about. The emotions they generate in themselves will determine whether this marriage is going to work or not work. And it doesn't work of its own. You got to take time to do it. You have to be intentional about it. You have to be proactive about it. If you want your marriage, your relationship to work, it doesn't have a life of its own. You must do it. You must seek to generate the right emotions in your spouse, the right vibes in your spouse, the right energy in and around your spouse to make your marriage work. Same thing. If you want that for your friendship, same thing for your company, right? I have a company, I have farm manager, I have farm workers. If you want your business to grow as a unit and not divided, you have to create the right vibes amongst your workers, right vibes among your board, in your place of work, your team. You have to create the right vibes, the right energy, for the team to work as a unit and not be divided, to work in unity. You have to create the right vibes, the right energy, right? Let's go on. So emotions drive relationship, obviously, and noticing them matters. If they drive it, you need to know what emotions are you evoking to know whether your relationship is working or not working. Not every type of emotion is equally predictive of the health of the relationship, obviously. Not everyone, but there are some, that are, some are more predictive than the other. But the key thing is we want to check between what is positive, what is negative, what kind of vibe is it creating in my relationship. Two kinds of emotions stand out, right? Or two kind of generators of emotions stand out, when it comes to predicting relationship, the life of a relationship. There are two. One is empathy, affection. Empathy, affection. Empathy, affection. Two kinds of emotions or emotion generators, that if you hold on to, you become a master at relationship. You be a master in marriage. Empathy, affection. Empathy, affection. So let's start with the word empathy. What is empathy? Empathy is the ability to get a person. Empathy is the ability to wear the shoe of another person, feel the pain of another person, see things from another person's perspective. Such that at the end, the response that will come from the person is, you get me. You get me. Empathy is to the end that the other person can say, you get me, you understand me, you heard me. But it's being able to wear the shoe of the other person. It's not pity. Empathy is not pity. Pity is dissociative. Empathy is compassion. Pity is mental. It's a mental assent to a thing. Pity, look at. Empathy is not pitying somebody. Empathy is having compassion for somebody. Empathy is not a mental assent. It's a heart assent. It's a heart assent. Empathy is associative, not dissociative. Pity is dissociative. You don't wear the same shoe as a person. You're seeing the person as separate from you. Empathy, you see the person as a part of you. You feel the pain of the person. You feel the joy of the person. If you want to be a master at relationship, you have to become a master at empathy. Yes, empathy has its own, like every good thing has its own shortfall, right? Empathy is a tool to be used, not a tool to use you. There's a particular personality type. If you take away the Y, we'll call a particular personality type, we call empath. Empath. Empathy without the Y is a personality classification. And these are people that feel the energy around them. They are sensitive to the energy around them. They are sensitive to the energy, emotion around them, and they respond accordingly. But the weakness is that they could become a slave to that energy. They don't know where to say stop. That could work against you. Yes, it's good to be sensitive to the energy around you. It's good to respond to it, but you must know your limitation because you can't play God in people's life. There's only so much you can do in solving people's problem. You're not here to solve world hunger. That is God's job, not yours. So you need to have your boundary conditions, even in a place of empathy. You need to know the things you can do and the things you cannot do. You must know the things that are within your ability and things you should do and things you should not do. It's good to have empathy. It's good to wear the shoe of other people, but don't play God because you're not God. It will drain you. Your empathy needs to be sustainable. You don't just want to empathize today and not be able to empathize tomorrow. You don't want to be dead today and you can't live tomorrow. Empathy is good. It's good to take to wear other people's shoe, but you're not God. So know where your boundary conditions are. But in empathy, it will provoke the right vibes in the people around you, your spouse, your friends, your colleagues, your workers. But it must not be limitless because you're not God. Only God can solve world hunger. It's not your job to solve Waldinger. I hope that helps. So some ways in which we can practice empathy in our daily life. It's one of it is actively listening to people. When you listen to people, it helps them. You know, you know, and I'm a counselor, right? I've been a counselor for decades now. Um, and one of the biggest asset tools of a counselor is the ability to listen. Having the answer is not necessarily, your counselor does not have to have the answer to everything, no, but you must be able to listen, because people already know what they want to do when they come to you. They're only coming to see if you support it or not. They already concluded what they want to do or not do before they come to you. All they're trying to do is use you as a sounding box. They just want to sound you out. Your biggest tool, asset as a counselor, is the ability to listen. Because when you listen effectively, the person can get clarity of thought and get the answer, him or herself, without needing you. Your biggest asset is being available to listen, not having the answer for the person. But when you listen to someone, that person feels seen, that person feels loved, that person feels heard, that person feels known, that person feels understood, that person feels loved. And it means a lot. It brings out the positive vibes. It generates the right energy, and that person feels connected to you, at home with you. If only you could do that more for your spouse, to help your marriage. Women, I don't, to want to talk. Sometimes, like we gotta say, a woman is talking honestly because she wants the answer. So she fits that classical counselor engagement. She's talking about a problem just because she wants to talk about it, not because she wants you to solve it. When you're too much in a hurry to give the answer, you kill the moment. You kill the moment. Women need to learn to listen more and not be too much in a hurry to solve the problem, because that's what connects us to our spouse. If only we can listen more, our homes will be better. Not be in a hurry to solve your wife. But active listening to others helps, generates the positive emotions of empathy. When you use your imagination, it also helps. Imagine how the person feels, what the person is going through. Change position. If you were in that person's position and the person is in your position, what would you have the person say to you or do to you? That helps generate the right vibes, right energy, emotion. Right? Pay attention to nonverbal cues. Someone is talking, but it's not necessarily saying in words everything he or she wants to say, but it's expecting you to read their lips. Only about 25% of communication is verbal. You know that. The remaining 75% is non-verbal. This is a tested research. What a person sees affects what a person hears, irrespective of what the person that is talking is saying. What you are hearing me now say is not necessarily all that I'm saying. It is being judged by what you're seeing. What you're seeing, my gesticulation is affecting what you're hearing, which might be different from what I'm saying. What people hear is not just what you're saying. They're hearing your gesticulation. They're hearing the spirit behind what you're saying. And what they're hearing might be very different from what you're saying. It's tested. I've seen it. I've observed it. I've experienced it. I can be saying out, and people hearing me are hearing him because of my gesticulation. What I'm saying is out. But what people are hearing is in, just because of the way I'm gesticulating. What they are seeing is changing what I am saying to fit what they are seeing. It helps in understanding people, but if you're a teacher and you're also someone that's trying to communicate with other people, let there be an alignment with what you're saying, trying to communicate, and your gesticulation, your movement. If you're preaching a message about death and you are laughing, the people are confused. Well, they feel you're talking about a party. And what they're hearing is a party, not death. There are gesticulations that go with certain topic. And when you don't use those gesticulations, the message is not being passed or received. Pay attention to the nonverbal cues, because someone can be trying to pass a message that is different from the words that the person is using. And this also works for women also. Women are said to be two-mounted. And I'm not saying this in a way to demean women. That the women can want something, but they say no. And that confuses men. So much so men tend to abuse women because they think that it's actually the opposite that the woman is saying. Because not all women are like that, but a good percentage of women are like that. She wants to say yes, but she's saying no because she wants to look difficult. But it helps. It helps to hear people, because sometimes someone wants to tell you something, but that thing is difficult to communicate. And yet she's expecting you to read beyond the words that is being said. So she wants to tell you yes, but she's saying no, but she expects you to hear the yes, because she's saying the no in a way that you are supposed to pick the nonverbal cues to hear yes. And when you don't hear it, you don't have connection. You're not creating the right vibes with the person. So even though the person might want to say yes to you, because the vibes you are creating is not right, it might then be the no that you end up getting at the end of the day. So if you're communicating with somebody, if you want that person to feel heard, seen, and loved, go beyond just hearing the words. Pick the nonverbal cues, because there's a whole lot more in those cues than the words you're hearing. It helps in marriage, because depending on the personality of your spouse, they might not be the ones that speak so loud. You just say one word, but there's a book in that word, if only you're able to pick the nonverbal cues. Staying silent also is important, not being one that's always talkative. Sometimes you go to someone that's bereaved, it's not a multitude of words that you have to say that's important to that person. Sometimes all you have to do is just be there. Be there. Be there. Say nothing. Be there. All a person wants is to know that someone is with them, not you begin to say, oh, your person has died because God needs an angel in heaven, and start saying all of those religious stupid stuff. God needs angel in heaven. Really? So God needs that person more than we that need the person here. Is that supposed to comfort the person or what? Is that supposed to make the person love God more or love God less? If you have nothing tangible to say, just keep quiet. Just keep quiet. You probably generate more positive vibes by keeping quiet than saying foolish things. So know when to talk, know when not to talk. If you have nothing good to talk, just be there. Tell the person, just show the person you love the person enough to be there. Be there. Be there. You don't have to always talk. Your presence says a lot. Ask questions, seek clarity. When you don't understand, ask questions. Ask questions, ask quality questions. Don't assume. Assumption is the lowest level of knowledge. Don't assume. If you want to create the right vibes, ask questions. Ask your wife's question. Why are you not always Why do I have to be one to always make the move? Ask questions, seek clarity. Don't assume, right? Cool down before responding. Don't be in a hurry to talk. Don't be in a hurry to talk. Don't be in a hurry to answer back. Cool down. Cool down. Again, use your imagination. Assume positions were changed. How would you want to be responded to? Don't be in a hurry. Hurry is of the devil. Hurry is Satan himself. Cool down. 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 If you want to generate the right vibes, you want to have a good relationship. I'm going to stop here. Past the hour mark. So the next thing is talking about affection, but we'll move that to next week. So I don't just keep you all here for too long. We'll key into affection next week, and talking about emotions, creating the right emotions that will help our relationship, our bonding together, our connected together as in marriage, friendship as a whole. I hope you enjoyed our time together. I hope you learned one thing or the other. Thanks, Elite Creative. Thanks, Mary. Thanks for all of you on YouTube. Thanks for all of you on my blog site that came around. Feel free to drop a note for me, a comment for me. And Instagram Live, I'm going to load this on my reel after I'm done. So you'll see that on my site there. Aki Bodenshay, it's going to be there on YouTube, my blog site, Facebook, wherever you get to find this. Drop me a note, let me know what your thoughts are, add something to what I've said, it either affects you, a real life experience of your own, a question for me, something you want me to talk about, next time. Anyone, just feel free. Let's build a community together. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the privilege of spending this time with you. Have a great remaining of the day and have a great week ahead. See you next Sunday. Shalom. God bless you.